I'm Steve.
And I'm Les.
And this is another episode of Tabletop Tasting, Sip, and Play. Les, what did we play?
Steve, we played one of my favorite games of all time, and that is Eclipse. And in this case, it's the second edition, which is Second Dawn for the Galaxy. I have loved this game for at least a decade. I love Eclipse so much, and to me it's essentially Risk on steroids, because it's all space-based. Each of your units are upgradable, and you can add different parts to them, and when you do that, you immediately upgrade every ship of that class in the fleet. And I love every aspect about this game. I love how you've got to balance your economy at the end of each round. I love your different choices that you have and the research options available and the unique research options. And I love how in Second Dawn for the Galaxy, they fixed some of the balancing issues that existed in the first issue of the game. I love Eclipse. Steve, what do you think of the game?
Yeah, I really love this game too. It is a gamer's game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, it's kind of like it's Risk, it's like Catan a bit because you're discovering new areas. It's cutthroat because you're gonna battle at some point, especially when you have a number of different players. It is beefy.
It is beefy. And
beefy.
It's something that requires time. The box has always said, half an hour per player.
25 minutes.
25 minutes per player.
That's laughable.
The reality is it's an hour plus per player.
100%.
I've done 6-player games of this, and you're there for 8 hours going through it and playing.
Definitely.
But I love every aspect about this game. And Steve, this is one of my favorite games. I hope, in fact, I know, but I hope you've brought a fantastic whiskey to pair with our playthrough of Eclipse.
Oh yeah, well, if you're gonna do Eclipse, you have to have a meaty, beefy, you've gotta have something that's gonna last, right?
Absolutely.
So, 100%. So what we have enjoyed quite thoroughly, actually.
We have.
Definitely.
You can tell by the level of the bottle back there. But it's a long game.
It is a long game. So, and that kind of works into what I'm gonna talk a little bit about when it comes to this bottle. So what we have today, what we've been enjoying is Shenk's.
Steve, how about we go back to the bottle crack?
Let's do it. Ooh,
that was powerful.
That was nice.
Clean, crisp, loud pop. That was beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful cork on that. Oh man. Well, let's get it right into it. Let's give ourselves a nice little hefty pour so we can enjoy it while we're playing the game.
I like it.
And it's a pretty cold one here today when we're filming, so I'm gonna give myself a little extra.
Nice strong caramel color there. Oh.
Oh yeah.
The nose is good. You can tell immediately it's a bourbon.
Oh, that smells delicious.
It smells great.
Oh, that's like home baked goods. You get that butter. Oh, the caramels, but you get some apple in there. Like, it's gorgeous.
I don't think I can wait much longer, Steve.
Oh,
Let's go in
I don't know. Like, I'm really loving that nose. Oh, sorry.
I've just
you
been
might have
dying
to just fast forward it a few minutes, guys.
to try this one for so long that I really, really want to get
I'm
into
really hoping that it lives up to the nose, because that is just beautiful.
Magnificent. Magnificent.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Oh. Wow.
That's pretty good stuff.
That is nice. It's got that buttery feel to it. Beautiful caramels. Like, it's 100%. You're like, oh, that's a nice bourbon. It's the sour mash. So, like, it's, wow.
It has a uniqueness to it, like almost a softness of some sort.
Yeah. That's where I'm kind of getting those, like, that buttery flavoring from it, or that buttery feel even on the tongue. Like, that's, wow.
That's really nice. And I want to
That
use
is very nice.
the word smooth on this one, but in a positive sense.
Yeah.
Because it is really not aggressive, but still rich and flavorful.
No, it's beautifully balanced. And okay, so if you're gonna play a massive game like Eclipse, you need a complex an adventurous, you need an epic bottle.
You need a bottle
kinda
that
go with
matches
it.
that
Yeah.
gameplay experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This isn't a quick 30-minute game.
No.
You want something that you can go back to again and again
Right.
throughout that entire game. And I really think that this bottle fits that bill.
Yeah, does it ever? And I'll
100%.
admit, when I tried it, because this wasn't a cheap bottle. This was, I think I paid over $200 Canadian for this bottle. So my first taste of that, I was a little bit, like, it's really good, but is it $200 plus dollars good? However, as we played through hour 1, hour 2, hour 3 of our gameplay experience here, I have fallen in love with Shenk's as I've enjoyed it while we've been playing this game.
100%, yeah. And it's one that you get to go back to again and again and really, really enjoy. You know, we talked about what are we going to pair with Eclipse.
Yeah.
Eclipse is a favorite of both of ours.
I wanted it to be something special because I love this game so much.
It has to be. And again, it has to fit that bill of I want to go back to it. I want to enjoy it through the night. So when we did Railway Inc., which is a quick little 30-minute, maybe 45-minute game.
Fantastic little roll and
roll and play, right?
draw,
So you're drawing, right? So we paired that with Michter's. Why am I bringing up Michter's?
Yeah, Steve, why?
Okay, so I'm bringing up Michter's because Michter's has a deep history that goes all the way back to Shenk's.
Yeah, in fact, it's written on the bottle right there. Michter's Distillery right here.
So it's really a tribute. This is made by Michter's nowadays, but it's a tribute to the original of the recipes that Michter's uses. And so if you watch that episode, we talked a little bit about it, that this guy named Shanks, back in 1753, he was a Swiss Mennonite, and John Shenk, he started making rye whiskey in Pennsylvania. So they had that little distillery there. It got purchased a number of times. It ended up in Louisville, Kentucky, and nowadays we know it as Michter's. Cool place. It's still on my list of ones to go to. But they're also kind of one of the originators of the Sour Mash Rye.
Steve, I've been
so
actually very curious about this because you mentioned the Sour Mash Rye before. What is a Sour Mash?
All right, so the Sour Mash it's really kind of cool. So every batch has a little bit of the last batch added to it.
So kind of like a sourdough bread type thing.
Almost, basically, right? So they use what the sour mash that they use, they take a little bit of that and put it into the next. So every one of them has a little bit of that history. So this is the 2023. Each year they kind of switch it up and make it just a little bit different. It's funny because this one here, we're told, is a hefty amount of rye in the mash. But when you listen to our bottle crack, we talked about how we didn't have a whole lot of rye notes.
Yeah, so that was interesting because I thought, and that was one of my kind of biggest initial thoughts behind it is I feel like I should get more flavor out of it than I was for the
more
price point.
spice.
More spice.
Yeah.
But the longer we've sipped it and enjoyed it, I feel like those notes are there. They're just... you got to spend some time with it to discover them.
Yeah, they're there in the background.
Yeah.
Right? So like I can taste it now. I haven't had a sip in a few minutes. I can taste those rye notes right now, which is really, really cool. Because right away you get some of those baking spices. It's kind of like bourbon right off the top.
Well, that's what, like, you can totally get the corn off. Like, I initially thought, oh, wow, this must be a bourbon.
Yeah.
And then looking at it, it's like, they don't call it bourbon.
Yeah, and it's still like
whiskey.
it's still a high corn mash to it, right? So the corn's going to be higher than that 51%, which makes it bourbon. But because of the way that they finish this particular whiskey, they can't call it bourbon because it's finished in two different French oak barrels. One of them, including from the Vosges region of France, which is really kind of neat. So I think that really adds to that complexity and just the overall balance. We won't call it smooth, we'll call it balance of this really, really good bottle.
I'll call it smooth because I think it is smooth, but it's a good smooth. I'm really, really happy with this experience.
Yeah, we're playing a long game like Eclipse. You want something that's big, you want something complex, you want something that's gonna linger in that flavor. And this really hits the bill. And I'm so excited that it does. We didn't open this until we started playing. So we didn't know. Like, did Les waste $200? I don't think so.
And it's funny because my initial thought was, maybe I did.
Yeah.
But again, after spending some time with it, I think it was worth the purchase.
I think so too, and especially because it was your money.
That always helps. That always helps.
No, but seriously, the complexity, the flavor, everything is there. So and I really enjoyed this.
Who do you think this product is made for? Who would enjoy this most?
So I don't think that someone that is starting out in whiskey is going to really appreciate the nuances.
I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, and it kind of really goes along with the game, right? Because someone starting out in games is not going to enjoy this game.
I remember the first time I played this thinking, wow, this is the most complex game I've ever played in my life. Now I know it really, really well. So, but it is still a heavy game. But I love it so much. Steve, what would you say is your least favorite aspect to this whiskey?
Oh, that's pretty hard. And I guess really the bottle crack was my least favorite.
What are you talking about? The bottle crack was fantastic.
No. What I mean is that the first little bit that we enjoyed.
Because that pop was epic. That pop was great.
No, that pop was
pop was good.
Really good. That pop had a lot of history.
It did.
Yeah. No, what I'm talking about is that little bit, like sometimes they call it the neck pour.
That first taste.
That first little bit of taste. And I was almost underwhelmed by it. But again, it's one of those ones that as it kind of lingers and as you go back to it, the flavors just keep adding. The complexity, because it just keeps adding on to each other. So I almost don't really have anything to complain about it other than probably could be a little bit less, right, in price.
It is expensive.
It is a bit expensive. Like, so $200, maybe a little bit more than that, plus Canadian. That is a bit high for a 45.6% ABV, right? So a little bit high. Maybe that's the only thing that I could actually complain about, because everything else is really, like, it is delicious.
I would say the one drawback to Eclipse, second Dawn of the Galaxy, is the price point as well. This game is not cheap.
No.
But if you love big 4X experiences, if you love taking a snowy day and spending 6 to 8 hours with a bunch of your closest friends playing this game, you are in for a special, special treat.
It's a very complex game, but I really love that
I do too.
about it, because it's a gamer's game. And again, you gotta have like a whole afternoon to be able to enjoy it. What a fantastic game.
Steve, I think we've learned a very valuable lesson today.
Les, I think we have.
And that is, if you're gonna play the 2 to 6 player game, Eclipse Second Dawn for the Galaxy, you wanna pair it with?
Oh, baby, do you ever wanna pair it with Shenk's? This is the Kentucky Sour Mash Whiskey from Louisville, Kentucky. Michter's makes this. Awesome stuff.
My name is Les.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Tabletop Tasting.
That it is.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is pretty good.
This is good. And again, I love that just keeps adding on the flavors to it.
Yeah. My initial response was underwhelming, but
it lingers. Like,
mind
it
you,
lingers forever.
We have drinkable.
We have, actually. We have. It's a snowy, cold day.